Welcome everyone. In this chapter, we are going to see the concept of float and clear. Let's quickly go through some of the important notes. The float property determines how the element should float within its container in the page. The other elements like text and inline elements got wrapped around the floating element. One of the common use case is wrapping of the text around the image. The element is removed from the normal flow of the page. However, it is still part of the flow that we will gonna see in the demo. Following are some of the common float values. None is the default value. Left means the element floats to the left of its container. Right means it floats to the right of its container. Inherit means it inherits the value of the float value from its parent. The clear property specifies which side of the floating elements are not allowed to float. That is, when clear is set to left, the floating elements are not allowed to float on the left side. Right means the floating elements are not allowed to float on the right side. Both means the floating elements are not allowed to float on both the sides. Here we have some boilerplate code, style tag, and then some HTML elements which we will gonna see in the demo. The preview looks very simple right now. Let's add the elements and CSS. So here we have our first box. Let's uncomment it. You can see it's very simple. It has a class with box and box1. It has a h2 tag with text box1 and some paragraph content. Save it, and if you see the preview, here you can see. Now, first of all, we need to add this universal CSS so that the padding and border are included as part of the width of the element, which is box sizing as border box. And now let's add the box CSS as border 1 pixel solid and red, and padding as 20 pixel, and let me give margin bottom so that other boxes can be easily differentiated. And here you can see we have a nicer box. Now if you maximize the browser, you can see the box is still taking the entire width, which is 100%. Now you can see we have a container which is wrapping all our boxes. Now let's add the CSS for it, and let's set the maximum width as 1000 pixel, then margin as like 20 pixel up down and auto so that it goes into the center. Let's also set border so that you can easily see what's happening within that container. And now let's see the preview, and here you can see we have this much container. Let's increase the height of container as 200 pixel. Now our container box is looking very nice. So let me maximize this as well. And now you can see the box one width is 100%. So let me explicitly set the box one width as 100%. Okay, here you go. Now let's uncomment box 2 and set the width as 65% or 70%. Okay, so box 2 right now, if you see, the box 2 is taking the entire width. Now if you set the width as 65%, let's see what happened, and here you go. Okay, now let's add another box, which is box 3, and see what happened. And here the normal flow is this one, right? We have first element, second element, and third element. Okay, that's the normal flow. But what we want this box 3 to be added here in this area. and making the box 3 width as something like 30%, and here it is like 65%, it is 30%, which is making 100%, 95%, right? So let's see that how it works. Box 3 and width as 30%. Okay, and if we see the preview, we still didn't get the intended output. Okay, because we want the box 3 to be added here. Now to get this result, what we need to do is we need to make the box 2 as a floating element so that it goes out of this flow and float to the left. Okay, and then the box 3 will come up, and we need to make box 3 also as a floating element and float to the right. I hope you got the point. Okay, let's see how it works. So let's make the flow box 2 as float left, and let's see what happened. And here you go. Now you can see the box 2 is floating to the left, and if we make the box 3 as float and float it to right, then you can see we get the intended result where we got box 2 on left and box 3 to the right. Now let's have the another box as box 4, and let's see what happened this time. And here you go, our box 4 is now looking very weird. Okay, and it is now coming behind our box 2 and box 3. Okay, now we were expecting that the box 4 will be rendered after box 3 and 2. Okay, to do that we have to clear the floating effect made by the previous two elements. So to do that, let's add another div and have the clear both CSS. Okay, and just add the clear both CSS, and let's set the clear as left and see what happens. Here you can see it has nullified the effect of the box 2 floating, and however the box 3 floating is still there, so our box 4 is now visible on top of box 3. So to get our expected output we need to use clear both, and now you can see our boxes are properly visible. I hope that this chapter helped you understand the concept of float and clear property, and you will use this property effectively in your web designing. Thank you for watching. See you in the next chapter.